खास मुलाकात में आप सभी का इस्तकबाल है। मैं हूं खुर्शीद रब्बानी और ख़ास मुलाकात में एक बेहद ख़ास मेहमान, a very special guest, Dr. Varsen Aghabekian Shahin, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Palestine. Welcome to Munsif TV, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So far, so good.
Please tell us about your visit. I think it's a 3-day visit, and how you see India and Palestine's relationship.
I'm here specifically for the Arab-India Forum, and that's a very important gathering for Arab foreign ministers with India to discuss issues of interest, and certainly Palestine would be at the table, and we will discuss how to move forward, what India can do in terms of support that it can provide, and so forth. Right. Our relation with India dates back to decades before. India has been extremely supportive, and India is one of the first countries that have recognized the PLO as the sole representative of the Palestinian people. It has recognized the state of Palestine. It has been at the forefront in terms of development assistance to Palestine and humanitarian assistance, especially in Gaza, its support to UNRWA. So we have been grateful, and we are grateful for the support given by India.
All right. What is the current humanitarian situation in Gaza and West Bank? People want to know about this current situation, the real situation.
The situation is very volatile. In Gaza, you can imagine if you have a space that is 365 square kilometers with 2.3 million people that have been bombarded day and night for over 2 years. Most of the people have been displaced, not once, not twice, 3, 10 times within their own space. Some of them have opted to leave, but very few percentage of the Gazans have already left. But today, Gaza is in shambles. 82% of the infrastructure has been destroyed. Most schools, churches, mosques, healthcare setups, educational setups, cultural centers, you name it. The destruction is all over. Many are suffering from malnourishment as water and food have been used as weapons of war, which, as you know, it's a crime to use that as weapons of war.
It's a war crime.
It's a war crime, yes. And today we have a ceasefire, albeit a partial ceasefire, because since the agreement was signed on the ceasefire, we've had some 600 to 700 people killed, Palestinians, and triple or 4 times that number injured, and about 2,500 to 3,000 structures have been also destroyed. So what we want to see is a sustainable ceasefire so that we can embark on relief and rehabilitation efforts, let alone reconstruction efforts. On the West Bank, the situation is also quite dangerous, because what we see on the West Bank is creeping annexation of Palestinian land, more confiscation of land, more settlers housed or living on stolen land from the Palestinians, more settler terrorism spiking in the West Bank, and more violations of our rights. If I think of human rights, I can assure you that every single human right is violated. Your right to mobility, your right to education, your right to healthcare, your freedom of speech, everything is violated and against international law.
India always supports a two-state solution. After the Gaza conflict, how do you see India's role going forward?
India has supported the two-state solution for a long time, and it has been voicing this support in international fora when it comes to UN resolution, human rights resolutions. India is a two-stater. We would like India to continue advocating for the two states as per international law, because India is also for international law, and it is for compliance of countries with international law. Well, if we look at Europe, today Europe is more supportive than ever, because we've seen several European countries come forward and support Palestine and recognize the state of Palestine. With India, the support is basically the same, and the affirmation of the two states is the same.
India has a good relationship with Israel also.
We have no problem with states to have relations with Israel. I mean, every state is a sovereign state and can decide on its relations based on its interests. But this relation should ensure that Israel is not infringing on the rights of anyone else, and it's not committing any wrongdoing. And if Israel is committing wrongdoing, as per international law, we expect that any country that is friendly with Israel to advise Israel, to speak with Israel, to advocate on the people that are oppressed by the state of Israel.
Right. India has sent medicines and humanitarian aids to Palestine. How important is this support at this moment? And what kind of help is needed most now?
In Gaza, everything is needed, from a needle to whatever you can think of. So India's support in any sector is important, but today more than anything, what you need is immediate relief to help people survive and steadfast. We need to build the schools, we need to build the healthcare system, because these are the basic needs of the people. They need to drink clean water, they need to have shelter, we need caravans to house the people, because most people are now living in tents.
You have met India's Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. What issues were discussed during the meeting?
Yes, we discussed the politics of the area and how India can position itself being a friend with both sides, and promoting the peace path and the path that would lead to recognition of the rights of the Palestinians. We also discussed what is needed in terms of development and humanitarian assistance. And it was important to talk about development needs in terms of infrastructure, and on the other hand, in terms of capacity building of the Palestinian people, of their capacity to manage institutions and so on.
The US has announced Gaza Peace Board. How do you see this initiative?
We have welcomed the peace plan of President Trump, because for Palestinians, any peace plan is welcomed. Any opportunity for forging peace would be welcomed. And that peace plan helped have a ceasefire, because our utmost priority now, and has been, to stop the fire so that people are not killed in Gaza. What we want today is for the people, the Palestinians, to steadfast in their land, be it in Gaza, the West Bank, or East Jerusalem. So in that sense, that has materialized. Now we have to see how the further steps are implemented, and hopefully that peace plan is beefed up so that at the end game we reach the statehood stage.
All right, but many countries, including India, are distancing themselves from Gaza Peace Board. How do you see this, and what may be the reason behind this to distancing from this board?
I'm not in a position to say whether people should join or not join, because countries have their own evaluation and assessment of the situation, and they need to look at this peace plan and see if it's in line with their values, with their outlook on what peace entails, and what needs to be done for peace, real peace, to be forged in Israel-Palestine.
How do you see the support of Arab world during this difficult period of Gaza and Palestine?
Look, we always say that the Arab support and the Arab unity when it comes to Palestine is extremely important, because we might disagree, but nobody argues on the importance of ending the occupation. As such, we have seen a lot of unity on the Arab front in recent years, in the last 2 years. I mean, Arabs were united on the ceasefire. The Arab countries were united on saying no to the displacement. When President Trump's Riviera surfaced, the Arabs collectively and individually voiced their objection to the displacement. Arabs have been supporting of the humanitarian assistance. Arabs have been supporting on internal talks amongst Palestinians. So I see more unity today than ever. And if we look at Saudi Arabia, for example, we see that Saudi Arabia, with all its weight not only financially, but Saudi Arabia is a weighty country, not only in the Arab world, but beyond that. It spearheaded the New York Declaration alongside France, which is an extremely important declaration because it says exactly what needs to be done in 42 points from where we are today to materialization of the state.
All right. Let's talk about Greater Israel. Israel always talk about Greater Israel. What is the Greater Israel according to you, and how Greater Israel concept a threat to Palestine?
To me, there is no such thing as a Greater Israel. There is the state of Israel within the borders of Israel today, excluding, of course, what it has occupied in 1967. But Israel, every once in a while, voices very blatantly that it wants to achieve this vision of Greater Israel, which means that it will infringe on the sovereignty of neighboring countries. It will take a piece of Jordan, a piece of Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, even reaching Saudi Arabia. And this is a very, very dangerous mentality, because if any other country was telling the world that I will infringe on the independence and sovereignty of the neighboring countries, I think the whole world will be upside down. And as such, the whole world should be upside down, telling the state of Israel that this is unacceptable.
All right. How do you view the ongoing tension between Iran, America and Israel, and what impact will it have on the situation in Gaza and Palestine?
Look, any instability in the area will invariably affect the area. So, and to us in Palestine, we see that any sources of conflict, any disputes must be tackled around a table, not through wars, because wars will bring violence and violence will breed more violence.
Absolutely true. Beyond the crisis, what new area of cooperation do you see between India and Palestine in the field of education, trade or culture?
A lot of areas we can cooperate on, and India was instrumental in, for example, building schools, building multi-purpose centers for the youth, hospitals, etc., etc. Today, the education sector is mostly needed because you can imagine that more than 1 million Palestinian children are out of schools. And we need to get those children in schools right away. Because children who have been devastated for 2 years and out of formal schooling, looking around them, seeing all this destruction and reminiscing their friends and thinking of the gloomy situation they're in, if they are not put in schools right away and taken care of right away as part of rehabilitating their mental health, then we are up to more problems in the near future. Right. So India can help a lot in that respect.
What are the possible or best ways to improve the situation in Gaza and West Bank?
The right way is to end the occupation, because people who have suffered for decades under occupation, have been oppressed under occupation, their rights violated for some 7 decades, need to breathe, need to release their potential, because these people will never accept to live under occupation. Occupation is ugly and it cannot be beautified, and international law says that this piece of land, which is called today the State of Palestine under occupation, is an occupied territory, and this occupation needs to be dismantled. That's the way forward.
All right. People also want to know about Hamas. Where does Hamas stand today, and what role does it have left in Gaza now?
Hamas said very clearly that it doesn't want to be part of the governance of Gaza in the future. And President Abbas, the president of the State of Palestine, had said that if Hamas or any other political party wants to be part of the political spectrum in Palestine, they need to join the PLO, because the PLO is the umbrella of all political parties. And if Hamas wants to join the PLO, it needs to subscribe to the mandate of the PLO. And the mandate of the PLO says, we live in peace and security with our neighbors, Israel. And we have recognized the state of Israel as a neighbor. Now it's time for Israel to recognize us, and whoever joins the PLO will accept the agreement signed by the PLO and will accept the vision of what Palestine will look like in the future. Palestine as also said by our president, to the world, will be a one state, one integral state, one people, one law, one government, and one weapon.
What message would you like to give to young people in India who stand in solidarity with Palestine?
Always stand by your values. You have a great democracy, you have great potential, and oppressed people around the world need your support. Continue to advocate for what is right and continue to worry about the international order and international law, because that law is under threat today, and we need all that support it can get so that we can continue saying that we live in a world that is governed by law.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving such a precious time to Munsif TV. Thank you so much. Thank you.